Hi, I'm Bonnie Dudley with Brooks Coaching. If you've ever muttered or shouted, I didn't sign up for this, while caring for a loved one, today's episode is just for you. I want to talk about resentment, that sticky, heavy emotion that sneaks in when your good intentions, right, crash headfirst into harsh reality. You meant to help. You want to keep your loved one at home. You made promises, maybe to them, maybe to yourself, but now you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and constantly cleaning up messes, either literal or figuratively. And no one seems to see it. Not really, right? Sometimes it is messy, maddening, and deeply isolating to be a caregiver. You're doing everything in your power to help, and yet your loved one, maybe they lash out, maybe they refuse help, maybe they repeat the same question over and over and over again. They maybe won't eat, won't shower, they wander, they snap at you, they ignore reason, right? And you're left thinking, seriously, I'm trying my best. Because guess what? You're already juggling work, home, your own life, and now caregiving. I have heard this cry from countless caregivers over the years. I didn't sign up for this. And you know what? They're right. If you've said it, you're right, right? Most of us didn't sign up for the role. It just landed on us. Sometimes what I call acute onset caregiving. You know, it happens with a phone call, with a fall, with an accident, whatever, diagnosis. Other times it's gradual onset caregiving and you don't even realize until you're in the thick of it that here you are. But regardless, you're in the role now. A few real stories. Now, most of you know I owned a home care agency for 10 years, and then I was a case manager for older adults on Medicaid for 6 years. I can tell you, I can give you 1,000 examples, but I'm going to give you three today. I had a daughter who was caring for her mom, and her mom had dementia. Well, the daughter told me, I yell at her sometimes and I hate myself for it. I just want one good night's sleep. Husband, angry and tired, snapped at his wife after changing her clothes for the third time that day. She never used to be like this, he said. There were tears in his eyes as he was saying that. Now she can't even walk without falling. Yeah. Or the caregiver who scolded her father for wandering out the front door for the third time. Again, right? Even though she knew it was part of his condition, it didn't matter. I mean, she knew it, but she was still frustrated and angry and scared because she didn't know where he would wander to, right? Her voice trembled as she told me, I know it's not his fault, but I am losing it. So, what do you do with this resentment? We know it's there. First, we stop pretending that it's not there. It is there. Our lives have been derailed, and no matter how much we love the person, right, our lives are not what we anticipated they would be. But here's the truth: resentment doesn't make you a bad person. Resentment, it just makes you a human, right? You are caregiving and it's a hard job. So the key though is what you do next. Now, most of you know that I run half marathons. I've been running for pleasure for 36, 37 years now, right? I say I'm a half crazy woman running because I run half marathons. So I have a little tool that I use, and I call it rare race. So when you feel that resentment starting to pile up, remember to have a rare race. Rare, rise above reactive emotion. Race, respond after careful edits. When emotions run high, and they will, pause. Don't react in the moment. Step away if you need to. Breathe. Maybe you journal. Journaling's not something that I've ever been, that hasn't really appealed to me over the years, but it's really helpful for a lot of people. Go for a walk. That has appealed to me. I go for a run. Call someone. Right? Then come back and respond once you have settled yourself. And when you respond, you're responding now from a place not of frustration, but from your calm, edited self. So it's just a way to emotionally regulate. It's not always graceful, trust me. It's not always easy, trust me there too. But it's a heck of a lot better than guilt soaked outbursts and broken trust. So here's a few other ways that you can work it out. One, acknowledge that resentment. Like I said, just stop pretending it's not there. So acknowledge your resentment, but without judgment. You're not selfish. You're just stretched too thin. There's a big difference in that. Two, seek support, whether it's respite care, a support group, therapy, a communication coach for working family caregivers. You need an outlet. You were never meant to do this alone. Three, stand up to bad behavior. Just because your loved one is ill or has an injury or isn't themselves, it doesn't mean you must tolerate abuse or disrespect. You can be compassionate and assertive. Four, don't try to reason with unreasonable behavior. If your loved one has cognitive decline, you are just going down a very frustrating path if you start to argue with them. So logic often fails. Why? Because the part of their brain that helps them maintain logic, behavior, your cognitive executive functions are right there. And guess what? It's been, with that decline, it has been damaged. So they're not able to reason like they once were. Focus on calm responses and safety, not winning the argument. I always, I always say, honey, when I would go into a client with cognitive, I like, check your baggage at the door, Bob. Check your baggage at the door. I would sit in my car before I went in and I would emotionally regulate. I'd leave my baggage in the car, my stress, and I would go in. And oh my gosh, what a difference it made. Five, prioritize self-care like it's oxygen. You can't pour from an empty cup. It is one of my favorite sayings of all times. Even 20 minutes of something that refuels you can make a difference. When I was a police officer, I was the queen of the 20-minute power nap, right? And it just re-energizes me. So, have you ever reacted to a loved one in anger only to feel consumed with guilt later on? What were you really feeling? Was it anger or was it fear, frustration, exhaustion? Now think about how the rare race could have helped in that moment. What would it have looked like to give yourself that space and grace to respond intentionally? So here's your reminder for today. You're not wrong to feel frustrated. You're not broken for feeling resentful. You're not a bad person. Right? And most importantly, you're not alone. Caregiving isn't a sprint, it's not always a choice, but the way you respond for yourself and care for yourself in the process, that is your choice. So when emotions run high, remember to run that rare race. Rise above reactive emotions, respond after careful edits. You got this, and I'm here if you need me. I'm Bonnie Dudley, and I'll see you soon.